Have you ever wondered where your old laptops, phones and TVs go to die? Well, every year our planet generates over 50 million tonnes of electronic waste.
The problem is things just don't last as long these days. Take phones, for example. The entire industry seems geared around us replacing our handset every couple of years or so.
But only about a quarter of that e-waste is properly recycled. And that's really bad because our devices contain potentially toxic chemicals.
Well, Michael Kaloki has been looking at how one company is trying to combat this in Kenya.
This is Dandora. This community on the outskirts of Nairobi is home to one of the largest dump sites not only in Kenya but East Africa. Although it was declared full 20 years ago, over 800 tons of garbage is still dumped on this sprawling 30-acre site every day. And in recent years, an increasing proportion of this is e-waste. Men, women, and even children scour the stacks of waste for discarded electronics, breaking them apart for their motherboards, batteries, wiring, anything that can be resold for parts. It's become an important income stream in what is a desperately deprived area.
I've come to this part of the dump site to meet an e-waste collector. There are thousands of people who work here in the dump site, and it's a dangerous environment to work in.
Stanley Mwangi is one of them.
We get a lot of e-waste here, as you can see. We find items like motherboards. We repair some of the motherboards, and others we just use as replacement parts. Anything we can't use, we sell to Chinese traders. There are many buyers for e-waste materials, but the e-waste is not easily found. The items are few and the buyers are many, so the price shoots up. We sell the e-waste by the kilo. Traders pay 1,500 shillings, which is about $6 per kilo.
He's worked on the dump since 2002, and as a single parent says, he has no other choice.
It is dangerous work, but we have to do it. If we do not, we will go hungry. One of these fingers got chopped off working here, but I had to keep working here to make ends meet.
He says the injury was caused by a shard of glass. And while such injuries are common where people don't have access to any protective gear, there are arguably greater dangers to working here. They are exposed to toxic chemicals such as lead, mercury, and cadmium. These chemicals can leach into local water supplies, and noxious fumes inhaled when any unwanted e-waste is burned. But while Kenya only recycles 1% of its e-waste, this is far from being just a Kenyan or an African problem. For example, North America only recycles about 15% of its e-waste. While the informal and partial recycling of electronic waste has been the status quo in Kenya for decades, one organization is hoping to change that.
So some of the waste from landfills, like the one in Dandora, ends up in e-waste centers such as this one. Well, I'm here to find out what the process is when the waste gets here.
The Waste Electrical and Electronic Center collects and recycles a variety of e-waste, ranging from computers and phones to solar panels and refrigerators. At its Nairobi headquarters, these are then channeled to the relevant workshop. In one, technicians test and refurbish laptops and tablets so they can be used again. And any device or appliance deemed beyond repair is sent to the dismantling room to be stripped for usable parts. And in another room, hundreds of batteries are upcycled, saving them from contaminating the soil in dump sites like Dandora.
At the moment, we are able to receive 240 tons of e-waste per year, though we have the capacity to process 200 tons per month, which means we are performing way below capacity.
So why then is there this low volume of e-waste being collected?
It's due to lack of public awareness. Majority of our community members do not know that e-waste is dangerous. Now we're moving ahead to incentivize the sector. We are now creating what we call the green points. When you go to some of these convenience stores, you'll find bins, and when you go to gas stations, petrol stations, you'd also find e-waste disposal bins where you drop your phone, dead phone, and you're able to get green points. Those green points, you could go to a convenience store to redeem them for a new electronic device or any other item at a discounted rate.
Well, there are also external factors at play here.
So Joseph, is all the e-waste that is found in Kenya, is that generated here?
The e-waste devices that have been imported to this country, some of them are coming as very short lifespan. We also have other devices that are coming to the country through illegal channels. They do not go through the required tests. But of course, we also have electronic devices coming to this country disguised as donations. You can't use them for more than even 2 months.
But despite these hurdles and the prediction that the amount of global e-waste could double by 2050, Joseph hopes that organizations such as his could start to make a positive difference. But what difference that could have on the livelihoods of people like Stanley, who rely on dumps like Dandora to survive, is now uncertain.
I've been able to open a repair shop with the money I've made here. So I will keep going. I will only stop working when my body gives up.
That was Michael, and we're staying in Kenya now to look at the issue of maternal health.
Yeah, Yasmin Morgan-Griffiths has been looking at attempts to widen access to vital healthcare in remote parts of the country.
A woman dies every 2 minutes due to complications in pregnancy or childbirth. The majority of all maternal deaths are in sub-Saharan Africa. And in Kenya, the problem is actually getting worse. 70% of the population lives in remote rural areas where they're cut off from life-saving infrastructure.
Not all moms are able to access the right kind of care. Transport getting to the hospital is always an issue. We don't have enough healthcare workers for the population. Big problems, I would say.
Not all maternal health clinics across Kenya are as well equipped or as well staffed as this one in Nairobi.
But it's hoped the technology being trialled here could help ensure that more mothers-to-be get access to potentially life-saving treatment.
This is Jennifer's first glimpse of her baby.
The legs.
Ultrasound scans like these play a key role in ensuring a pregnancy goes smoothly. Unfortunately, there's been some bumps in the road for Jennifer.
Last month, I had a complication. I had a discharge.
She was advised to go straight to hospital to get checked out.
Oh, I was scared. Yeah, I was scared. I was like, maybe I'm losing the baby or something.
Luckily, Jennifer and her baby are both fine, but she also had problems in her previous pregnancy.
I had to go for cesarean section.
And did your doctors tell you that it could have been prevented if you'd had an ultrasound earlier?
Yeah, they said it could have been prevented.
Where you live, is it difficult to get an ultrasound during your pregnancy?
It's quite expensive and you have to go for a distance to get it.
Jacaranda Health, the organisation that runs this clinic, has partnered with tech giant Google to trial a solution that could help save lives.
It's important for pregnant women to do ultrasound throughout their pregnancy. The first importance is to check fetal anomalies. Initially, as a nurse, we were not able to perform the ultrasound.
Until now, This ultrasound probe sends video output to a tablet or smartphone, making this system cheaper and much more portable than traditional ultrasound scanners. Artificial intelligence then interprets the image without the need for a sonographer.
The information that I'll get here will help me to save the life of a mother and also save the life of the fetus.
I've come to Google's offices in Nairobi to find out more about how their AI models are being developed.
This technology is intended to be so easy that you could train anybody to do it. Do you think that I could have a go?
I think you definitely could.
Okay.
First, I need to measure the size of the bump and apply my ultrasound gel.
So as you smooth it, you'll start to see the imagery.
Oh.
Next, it's time to do the scan. I need to do 6 sweeps over the abdomen, and the app gives me instructions for every step of the process.
You're doing amazing.
Thank you. Feels like if I were more confident, this would be much quicker.
The AI models then analyze the image. They give direct
3 weeks, 2 days. The fetal presentation is, I actually can't pronounce that word.
Cephalic.
Cephalic. What does that mean?
That just means heads down. Non-cephalic positioning could be breech or transverse, which means that the patient might need a C-section or something like that. We're not trying to replace sonographers. Humans are very important to providing care, and we just want to give them additional tools in their tool set.
You know, obviously we've done this on a model that is created for training purposes. Are there challenges to doing this on real human beings who might vary from each other?
The models were trained on thousands of patients from different backgrounds, and so the model's seen a lot of different variations.
But Google needs to collect an even greater diversity of patient data to ensure the system can work for as many people as possible.
AI is only ever going to be as good as the data that it's trained on. It's always very difficult to get hold of very good data. So this is something that could take, a couple of years to do. So it may well show that actually this is fine to use in X country, but actually it doesn't work in Y country. So that's where the testing comes in. And if you were to deploy it wider, it's to make sure that you're not creating that bias. You've got to make sure that this is 100% foolproof. There is no margin for error.
Around 100 scans have been collected in clinical settings in Kenya so far. A lot more than that will be needed before the system's ready for routine use. Although the research is still in its early stages, Jacaranda Health hopes the trial marks the beginning of better days for maternal health in Kenya.
10% of mums in rural Kenya have access to ultrasound services. If this is available, it will definitely be a game changer.